Hello there, welcome to this week's video in which we are going to go plant shopping. Hello and welcome to another episode of me, Izzy. Today you have stumbled upon a video in which we're going to go plant shopping. It's going to be a sort of a come plant shopping with me sort of deal, and then we're also going to have a fun little plant haul. I also feel like I've chosen quite a it feels like a plant parent outfit. Very sort of wholesome plant mum look. Ready to look after some plants. Probably a disclaimer, I really am just like the worst person when it comes to plants. I can't keep them alive to save my life. All the plants in the house that my mum looks after, absolutely fine. On the whole, doing great. I'm happy for them. The ones in my care, they're not doing so great, not great at all. So I feel like let's begin with a little plant tour of Castle Wynn. This is a new segment that I like to call Thriving or Dying. Dying, thriving, dying on the inside, thriving but fake, slightly dying. My mum's letting the side down there. I do feel like I need to maybe explain myself ever so slightly as to how we got to this point where it's quite catastrophic. This one was actually given to me as a present for my birthday from everyone in the office. Listen, it was just like one of those supermarket plants that was like a tulipy type thing, I think, or like a lily. Because supermarket plants, I feel like you're set up for failure. They normally die pretty quickly anyway, so I won't blame myself too much for this. However, I did let this get to a pretty dire state of dead. This is dead. I'd say 9 out of 10 dead. Actually, 10 out of 10 dead. That's a 10 out of 10 dead. This one was originally meant to be a housewarming gift that I was going to give to my friend. I got it from IKEA. Originally, when it was alive, it was a succulent. But before I could give said housewarming gift, the pandemic struck, and then I vowed to myself I would keep it going until I could give it to my friend, and alas, it died. Nice pot though, still got the pot out of it. Finally this one, which I like to think, this one looks a little bit like Groot, or maybe like a mandrake from Harry Potter. He was quite the looker in his day. He had lots of leaves, he was like a small tree. And this one is an accidental theft on my part. This was the office plant when I was working on the Nethers, and when we were breaking up for the pandemic, you know, we were literally given like a few days notice to kind of like clear out the office, and there were obviously just a couple of office plants, and I volunteered to take this home and look after it whilst we were all away, whilst we were all at home, because I mean, let's be honest, we all thought it was gonna last like, what, 3 weeks or something? If we had gone back after 3 weeks, which is what like the original plan was, then it would have been fine, and it was alive after 3 weeks. But then, you know, the pandemic carried on, and then it got to like November, and they said to everyone, like, come back, we're gonna start filming again. And I, at that point, had decided that I was done with the film industry and didn't want to go back. And so I kept the plant, and I never returned the plant. I promise I intended to return the plant, but again, great pot. I decided to put aside like 40 quid and go to a garden centre and just kind of pick out some plants, start over, use these pots that I ended up having to go twice. The first time I went to the garden centre was a little bit of a fail. It was so busy. It was a bank holiday weekend and people were queuing around the garden centre, so you weren't walking around and looking at the plants. So by the time I was like queuing around this garden centre and I got to the houseplant bit, I felt too overwhelmed to stand and actually consider my options, because there were people behind me being like, move along. And it's my fault for going on a bank holiday, so that first trip was a little bit of a dud. So I went again a few days later with my mum. I even wore the same jumper for continuity, which in hindsight I find really funny that I even tried to have continuity. I'm determined to become a better plant person. I want to be that person that has like an apartment that's like a jungle, that just has all these thriving houseplants. I'm worried I'm going to get into the garden centre and immediately someone will focus in on me and just be like, she doesn't belong here. She looks like she would kill houseplants. She knows nothing of plants. And I think I probably am that transparent.
Trip was a success. We've got everything we need. We've got some new little pots, we've got some little trays. I'm not entirely sure what these are for. We've got lots of pot action. We've got a bowl for soil. I've got soil over there. Let me show you my soil. Look, I have soil. So the first thing I bought was a Fiscus Benjamina mix, which I'm pretty sure is like relatively like foliage-esque kind of side of plantage action. I really like the leaves on this. I feel like I'm doing this as if it's like a fashion haul. So otherwise known as a weeping fig. This is actually a flowering plant native to Asia and Australia, and it's the official tree of Bangkok. Isn't that nice? But it'd be really interesting to see what the flowers are gonna look like. I feel like he's gonna do well. I feel like he's gonna thrive. Next up, we've got this really cute little hanging plant. I don't 100% actually know what this is because my mum threw away the tag, but it comes in this really cute little hanging basket. I think it's a rare Dischidia ornatha, but if anyone can tell me what this is and how to look after it, I'd be really, really grateful because I am stumped. But it's so pretty. They did these in loads of different sizes. They had like really big ones and medium-sized ones, and I feel like this could look really cool hanging from a window in like with 3 of them at like different levels. I love that the pot is actually like earthy. I'm not sure if I'm meant to put this in something else. Like, is it fine to just hang it out like this? Like, if I water it, is it gonna leak? This is my concern. It's really nice that I'm putting confidence in myself that I'm gonna water it at all. Next up, we have this little bad boy. I got him because he was cheap and he was cute. Just how I like my men. It just says foliage mix, so I've no idea what this actually is. In the shop, there was a variety of different ones of these in this size pot. I think the idea is that you buy more than one of these and you plant them all together, I think, but again, I'm not a professional. I really liked his little leaves. I think they're dead cute and happen to have the perfect pot for him, which we will get onto later. Right, next up, this is the last one I actually bought, and I was taken in by the bright orange flowers and just like his spiky disposition. So it's a Clevia minata, and it looked almost like Mediterranean or like relatively tropical to me, but I really fell in love with these like really bright orange flowers, and I really hope that they come back because I've read online before that like you can buy plants that are flowered and then the flowers will die after a couple of weeks and then they just never ever come back. And listen, if that happens, I'm still gonna love him. We're still gonna thrive together, but he just won't have flowers anymore. But I'll still love him for his greenness and his spikiness, and it's fine. And it's a species of flowering plant in the genus Clevia, native to woodland habitats in South Africa. I'm sure it's stoked to be here in rainy England. I don't know what you call it, the word where you like, is it propagate? Propagate? Where you like cut a snipping of a plant and then grow it in water for a bit and then pot it. My friend Jenny gave me this when he was super, super tiny, and I just never repotted him, and it's getting a little dry in his little pot. So it's time to give him an upgrade in the pot area, and hopefully he can start to thrive, because I'm pretty sure that spider plants aren't meant to be this pale. Maybe I've given him too much sunlight, I'm not sure. Next up, we are going to repot this guy, and we're also going to choose which plant pots we're gonna give to these guys, which I don't think they're gonna fit in, but the thought is there. This guy is the easiest, my foliage mix dude. He's gonna go in this pot, which is like a really nice tealy kind of thing. I'm just gonna pop him in. Isn't that nice? I'm even going to let him have a smidge of my water, because sharing is caring. See, we're off to a great start. Empty blue pot, put this one in. Which he does not fit in at all. I didn't think to even measure the plants that I was buying because I'm just that person. But can you imagine what this could have been? Can we just kind of like imagine what this could have looked like if I got the plant pot right? And then I really want to put my orange one in this one. Yeah, you know what, I can't actually leave that in there. You know what, I think maybe these plant pots just aren't going to work. I think I'm just going to have to accept that these won't be going in plant pots today. So we're going to replant this little guy, which is fun, right? So I've got some scissors to cut open my potting mix, which is specially for houseplants. Don't say that I don't treat them well. My mum said to put like stones at the bottom so that the soil doesn't fill out, which means I'm gonna have to go outside in the rain to get some stones from outside. Okay, I've picked up some stones. Okay, so we've got our stones at the bottom. I've got a spoon to shovel my soil. I'm gonna snip the corner. And I'm gonna pour some of the soil into this little like white bowl first. And then we're gonna spoon it in. Isn't that fun? Isn't this fun? So fun. Ooh, this soil looks so moist. What a treat. So I'm gonna spoon a little bit of this really nice, fresh plant mix into my little bowl. I'm gonna do just a little covering over the stones to begin with. I'm so sorry if I'm like murdering him. I'm just trying to get some of this really dry soil away so that it can get to the moist new stuff. Let's pop him in. There we go. Sorry little guy, I'm just doing some of this more moist soil action around the sides. And then I'm just going to squeeze down this soil a little bit so that it's firm like the ground. That wasn't half as bad as I thought it was going to be. That was quite easy. I'm just going to give him a smidge of water. And you are going to live in this guy. Look, I did it. I did it. Right, that brings us to the end of this week's video. If you enjoyed it, maybe like, maybe even subscribe. I'd absolutely love to hang out again. And I will hopefully see you next week. Bye.